Chelsea fans, I'm back with another video and it's hot. It is hot. It's t-shirt weather. Talking of t-shirts, check this out. Love Chelsea, hate racism. Inspired by the legend Paul Canaville. Link to these t-shirts is in the description below. And without further ado, let's get cracking. I like these t-shirts. The old scar theme, great, fantastic. The video today is a slightly concerning one, I have to say. There is some positive news out there. And of course, there's loads and loads of transfer rumours and all sorts of speculation at the minute. But what I want to do is just focus on some of the news items that's appeared in the last couple of days. And it is concerning, I have to say. The situation at the moment with Chelsea and players leaving left, right and centre. We've already lost Fikayo Tomori, which to me is just scandalous. We've lost also Mark Gurhey. Now, some people are saying maybe that was a good thing. He was never going to get in the Chelsea first team. Of course, we've got Malang Sarr, who's fighting for his place at the moment under Thomas Tuchel in the pre-season squad, which has just gone over to Ireland. And we're looking at players in the academy that are now refusing to sign contracts. And they're refusing to sign contracts not on bad terms, but because they can't see the pathway into the Chelsea first team. This has been a problem for years, and it was only alleviated with the transfer ban, if we're being very, very honest. And the fact that Frank Lampard come in with his hands tied, and with Jody Morris, Joe Edwards, they looked at who they could promote into the first team from the academy or players coming back from loan because their hands were tied. We want to see academy players in our first team, of course we do. We want to see the pathway from the academy into the first team on a regular basis, of course we do. But we're in the modern world, the modern football world of money. And unfortunately, money talks, and it does prevent players from making it in the first team at Chelsea or forcing their way through. I'm just being completely honest. The temporary situation of the transfer ban enabled us to blood the likes of Reece James, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy. You know, we're looking at Billy Gilmore as well, along with Tomori and somebody else I've probably missed. Can't think of it on my head right now. But you know the point I'm trying to make. And so we look to these three players that are looking to leave. In fact, there's another one as well, which I've just forgotten about, which tells you this planning for the video has been fantastic. But we're going to talk about Lewis Bate, or Lewis Bate, who's one of the highest, sort of highly rated youngsters coming through in English football. And he's basically refusing to sign a contract because of that reason. He's rated higher than Billy Gilmore, for example. Billy Gilmore's just gone out on loan to Norwich with a view that he comes back, having played a season in the Premier League, to gain that experience to then kick on in our first team. Bate is rated higher than him, and he thought he'd have an opportunity in the first team squad this season with Gilmore going out on loan. Obviously, we've got players returning from loan that are being given a chance under Tuchel to impress. Drinkwater. You're looking at Loftus-Cheek. You're looking at Ross Barkley. And Bate doesn't see his future at Chelsea now, unfortunately, and so he will be leaving when his contract expires at the end of the season. He's that highly rated, highly thought of that the likes of Leeds, Liverpool, a number of other clubs are coming in for him, and it's expected that he will sign a contract with Leeds for a fee, which is a real blow to Chelsea. The situation between him and the club is not bad, but at the moment he's training with the under-16 squad because of his uncertain future. And he's not the only one. The next one is Myles Peart-Harris. Now, Peart-Harris is a highly rated prospect again at Chelsea. And he's another one that doesn't see his future in the Chelsea first team squad. And he's also now expected to go and sign for Brentford, newly promoted into the Premier League this summer. Another one is Valentino Livramento, the right-sided defender who can also play in the middle. He doesn't see his future at Chelsea, having sort of given a little bit of exposure on the bench at Chelsea towards the end of the season. He doesn't see his future at Chelsea, and he's also refusing to sign a new contract, and he's been linked with a couple of Premier League clubs who are interested, with one of them being Southampton. The fourth player is Ugbo, as reported by Fabrizio Romano here. He's agreed personal terms with Genk, and he will be signing for them as soon as possible, and the deal could be completed within days, literally. That's four players leaving, as well as Mark Gurhey, as well as Fikayo Tomori. That makes six that have left the academy and will leave the academy for money. Of course, there is the argument that Chelsea get these players out on loan, the likes of Tomori and Gurhi, to try and build up interest if they're not going to be in part of the first team squad, to try and earn a fee for them. Having come through the academy, it's good money. It's money that Chelsea have used and utilised before. People don't agree with it, but it's a fact of life. And so these 6 players will be leaving the club this summer. I'm just sort of trying to get my head around the fact that there's so much outcry, there's so much negativity, there's so much comment about the fact that these talents are being allowed to leave Chelsea. You know, we should be investing in them. We should give them the pathway that they want. Problem is modern football and the demands of the Premier League. The demands of finishing inside the top 4 at Chelsea is absolutely huge. Look at what happened to Frank Lampard last season. Didn't look like it was going to happen, so was sacked. It's literally top 4, that's it. But to challenge for the title, obviously, but as a minimum, top 4 qualification and the riches that come with that. We finished 4th under Frank, won the Champions League last season under Thomas Tuchel. Obviously, with Frank leading the way in the group stages. But the riches and the rewards from it is just huge. And clubs like Chelsea now, who have won the Champions League twice, the Premier League number of times, are one of the biggest draws in Europe now, if not the world. We need to keep our reputation. We need to maintain our reputation. And unfortunately, you're going to see, unless there's a real outstanding talent that can come straight into our first team and withhold their place in the team or within the squad, such as Hudson-Odoi, who hopefully will get much more of a chance this season, then you're going to find it difficult. And that's been a situation that's been the case ever since Roman Abramovich took over the club. It's always been that way because we're buying players to come in, to try and push on, to try and challenge for Champions League and then Premier League titles. And it's just a fact of life. Of course we want the conveyor belt from the academy to come in and players to come in and settle in the first team squad. Of course we do. But at the moment, with the riches that's involved in modern football, in the modern world, it's not going to happen. So you're going to see this happen over and over and over again. What Chelsea did, and what I like, the fact what Chelsea did with Mark Gurhi, my last video reported, part of the deal with Crystal Palace, they got matching rights. So if he does great and one of the big guns comes in and tries to sign him within Europe and they offer an amount of money that's accepted by Crystal Palace, Chelsea have immediately got the opportunity to match the terms of that figure with Crystal Palace and go direct to the player to negotiate terms to come back to the club. I like that part of a deal. And I'm sure Chelsea are trying to push for those parts of the deal or that sort of edge to the deal or part of the contract with these clubs they're going to be going to. Bate, Peart-Harris, Livramento, Ugbo. It's, as I say, it's just a fact of life. But there is good news that Armando Broja has actually signed a brand new contract. The 19-year-old has signed a 5-year deal, which is a great signing for us. Broja obviously scored one of the goals for Chelsea in their closed doors friendly against Peterborough, winning 6-1 last week. Hakim Ziyech scored along with Tammy Abraham, Christian Pulisic. They got the other goals. But Broja's been highly rated by coach Thomas Tuchel. He's being given the opportunity to impress this pre-season. And the thing is, there's all sorts of reports about Tammy Abraham being allowed to leave this summer, with a report that he's been offered to West Ham for a deal for Declan Rice, which more in the next video that's going to be coming out. Can Broja force his way into the Chelsea squad and the first team squad this season? We're being linked with all sorts of strikers. It's not happening. Erling Haaland, Romelu Lukaku, Harry Kane. It's not happening. Could this be the opportunity for him to come into the first team squad? If Tammy Abraham's sold and he's given the opportunity, bearing in mind Thomas Tuchel reportedly rates him highly, then you have to question what has gone wrong with Tammy Abraham. Tammy scores goals wherever he's gone. He scored goals in the Premier League for us. He finished top scorer or joint top scorer last season, I think it was, one of the two, with 11 goals. And bearing in mind he hardly played since Tuchel actually come in and took over. If Tammy's allowed to leave because they want to push on Broja from the academy, fair play. But you look at the situation and you find it difficult to understand. It's actually believed that Broja will actually go out on loan this season. So will Tammy stay? Hopefully he does. And hopefully he's been given more of an opportunity because he will score you goals. Will we see next season another striker come into the club? I'm not sure we will. If we now sign somebody else other than Haaland, Harry Kane or Lukaku, then I think it's a stopgap. And rather than sign a stopgap, why don't we just push Kai Havertz up into that area to challenge Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham for the start up top. Those three up top this season, and focus our efforts on getting a new defender and midfielders, rather than rely on a stopgap to come in and be a number 3 to Werner and Abraham, for example. So I guess we just have to wait and see. But let me know what you think about the fact that these players are going to be leaving the club, that they'll be, obviously, they don't see their future at Chelsea. Do you see it as concerning, or do you see it as the norm, unfortunately? And what do you think of the fact that Broja signed a new contract and the situation with Tammy Abraham? Let me know what you think about this particular video in the comment section below. If you've never seen my channel before, welcome along. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Drop a like on it for me. Then subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit that bell for notifications so you're notified when my videos come out. Got a newborn baby, so I'm trying to do videos and support the wife because I'm working full time as well. A couple of videos a week at the moment. So I appreciate your support and sticking with me if you have. All the regulars, thank you so much. Remember, these t-shirts will be linked in the description below. The Scar theme, love Chelsea, hate racism, great message. Make sure you check it out. See you next time.